great deal of webs cling to everything, and corpses of orcs can be seen amongst the webs.
That is a face of pure panic. You're me. You're a guest on another channel's actual play. More than that, actually, you're a representative of the company that publishes the game that they're playing. You are almost late to the call time because you didn't charge your laptop that has your character sheet on it, and you were too lazy to transfer your character sheet to your desktop, and you can't charge your laptop in your streaming space, so you're trying to keep your laptop charged for as long as possible, and you just finished a virtual therapy session minutes ago, literally minutes ago, so your brain kind of feels like it just got that type of massage that actually just beats the shit out of you, and basically you're opening your laptop as the game master is introducing the session and describing your surroundings, and you see that your character sheet is gone.
A spider the size of a cottage hangs from the ceiling above.
So you spend the next 15 minutes in denial, frantically searching your laptop for your character sheet because you know that combat is literally imminent, like the very first thing that happens in the session, and it's not there. And you realize that this is a bad look as a guest and a representative of a company on another person's stream, and so you literally just have to roll up and equip your third level character again on the spot.
Grenna is going to walk up, not like super close, but just a couple more feet just to be a little bit ahead of the group. Is our flooring stable, or do we have to be very careful?
As you step out past Vagar, Grenna, the floor is soft but firm enough to hold your weight. I would liken it to maybe a very stiff trampoline.
Okay. She's gonna crouch and like get on her knees in like a reverence pose, and she's going to take her sword out from its hilt and hold it and then just place it in front of her.
Okay.
And it only takes you this long. Castles and Crusades. It's made for idiots like me.
I'm so sorry.
We've made it. We're here. We haven't had any frames dropping. I think stream is a go tonight. Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Savage, I know we all said it in chat, but I hope your recovery goes smooth for your surgery. Fosco, welcome in. Thanks for being a member of the early crew. And Tabletop Junkie, hello, hello. And Stronghold, thank you so much for the sub, buddy. We super appreciate it. How the heck are all y'all? How's it going? It's lovely to be here. Hey, Waffles, how's it going? Good to see you. How's your week been? I feel like I just saw all of you yesterday. It was fun to play on like a different day of the week. It kind of like shook things up a little bit. But yeah, it was a good time. It was fun to get a little bit more into like the RP last night. I felt like we did a little bit more like role play, and it felt good as well to not do anything too crazy plot wise without all the players there. Hey, Waffles, thanks for migrating over to Twitch. Welcome, welcome. One of us. How are all you guys? How's your week? How was your weekend? Have y'all been doing anything fun? Who went to Gamehole Con? It was last weekend, right? Yes. Yeah, it was last weekend. Who went to Gamehole Con? Warlock, hello, hello. How are you? It's lovely to see you today. How's your week been? Mine has been kind of eventful. A little bit of an eventful week. I went to Gamehole Con and met Jeremy and Chuck. Yeah, let's go. Welcome in, Crypt. It's good to see you. And Curran, welcome in. Hello, hello. It's great. First time there. Hey, that's awesome. What'd you think? I think Gamehole Con fucking rules. That is such a great con. My God. Hello, hello. Well met. How was your week? We, last time I went to Gamehole Con, now I look back on it and it's like, the part of me that's like self-deprecating wants to see it as cringy because we were like going up to business owners and maybe bothering them. But I don't think we were actually bothering anybody, and everyone that we spoke to was super into it, or at least told us they were into it. But Nick and I went and did Conquest. We invented a game called Conquest at Gamehole Con last year. I'm talking about Conquest. Do you want to come join?
Oh.
You remember Conquest?
I loved Conquest.
I just realized that it sounds like Conquest.
Yeah, me too.
Didn't realize that before.
I had my magician's pouch.
Yeah. It's all detailed in the YouTube video. Basically what we did is we went around and like performed challenges for the different business owners and then talked to them about their business. It was a lot of fun.
We dueled.
We did duel. We did a lot of duels. I did not meet Steve because I had my back to him the whole time as a power move. That is how you do it.
Truly.
Yeah, you just turn your back and you don't do eye contact. The trolls see that as weakness. I saw Chuck and Jeremy at a bar. Sounds about right. Which bar was it? At least I think he was behind me. Actually, you know what? I'm unclear on that. Here's the thing. The unthinkable happened. Steve took a vacation.
Cool.
Finally got some time off. I don't know if he went to Gamehole. Did he? I had a whole meeting with him today for like an hour and we never talked about it, so I don't know.
He probably went to Roswell.
Went to to see the aliens. Went to the burger barn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grabbed the burger.
Hey Grace, how are you? This is Alan from Athos Editora. I urgently need to speak to Steve. I have some questions to resolve. Can you help me? Yes. Email me at grace@trolllord.com. Let me type it in chat. I'll be happy to help you. If you've been emailing him, he let me know there's an issue with his email. So if you've been unable to get a hold of him, I promise it's not on purpose. But yeah, email me your stuff and I'll make sure he sees it. Conquest sounds cool. It was a lot of fun. It was super, super fun. We had a good time. But then the video didn't do super well, so
Oh no.
I mean, it did fine. It just didn't do like super great.
Yeah, people didn't like that the final boss was the bathroom.
The final boss is the bathroom. I forgot about that part. Yeah, so yeah, well, actually, that's actually technically a spoiler.
True.
So now you don't need to watch the video. You've just had it spoiled. Because the whole idea is that we've got to level up to face the BBEG of Gamehole Con. And only at the end do you find out that it's the bathroom.
I'm the worst. I need more media training.
Adios.
Are you gonna read?
We're gonna read. We're gonna read. We're gonna read tonight. We are going to read tonight. We're not gonna sit here and share the hot goss. We're not gonna sit here and spill the tea. Perfect, no problems. Thank you very much for your kind of course, buddy. Of course, anytime. The other email is productsupport@trollord.com. I manage that one too, so you can reach us at either place. Steven's vacation was canceled due to sickness. Instead of Arizona, he and his better half spent the time at the cabin. He didn't get no UFO. I had no idea. That sucks. He finally got a vacation and it was sick. Is that real? If that's real, we're packing him up and sending him to Arizona before the year's over. Wait, why was he going to Arizona? That's where I am. Was he coming to see me? Yeah, he was coming to get you because you ignored him at Gamehole. So you just stood with your back to him. So he's on his way. Congrats on the pub. Just ordered my coffee. Oh man, Noriochi, thank you. I did not check Discord. Fuck. I'm right now making a note. I'm right now making a note to check Discord. I'm so sorry. Check Discord. Noriochi. Okay. I will not forget. I appreciate you. And hey, thank you. Thank you for ordering a copy. Fingers crossed that stream won't break. Same. Seriously. God, it's been some bullshit. So far, so good. I gotta like knock on wood. Hang on. The wood has been knocked. But yeah, for those of you who are like, huh? Crusader number 29. It's out. I'm terrified. I would like to thank the Academy and my parents. God, I would love to thank Jeremy for the very like generous, kind words at the front of the zine about my adventure. Here's the thing. It's weird. My adventure is weird. It's a little bit weird. I didn't include everything that I wanted to include in there because of it's tough to like fit it into the word count. So there's almost no like block text. I'm so sorry. I've never run a module before. I've only ever run my own adventures, including this one. The adventure that's in Crusader number 29 is Blood and Briar, which some of you might maybe have seen here before. Maybe, I don't know your lives. But yeah, that was an adventure that I ran for a group of new friends, and now it's on a book. So I've never run a module, so I don't exactly know. I don't know. I tried to follow the format a little bit, but first time for everything. If you want to submit complaints, throw rocks, throw fruit, you can do so in my email, grace@trollord. Let me know what you think and how I can improve in the future. I bought the Crusader today. Happy about it. Hey, Inquisitor, welcome in. I'm glad. Thank you. The thing about Crusader 29, it's not because of my adventure. I know that because the Crusader is amazing. It's an amazing product. It's a really cool zine. Today, the day of its release, the Crusader number 29 is our number 5 bestseller for the month. We sold a lot of copies. I think it would be hilarious if we got it to number 1, because the number one product for the month is a free book. If it can beat that, I think it would be really funny. So hey, if you want to check out The Crusader and read a little adventure that I wrote, it's in there. Check it out and let me know what you think. It's supposed to be weird, and your vision is your own. Try not to get hung up comparing yourself to other writers. Yeah, that is like the death trap for writers, artists, like all sorts of stuff. I'm so guilty about it. Like the comparing, it's constant. It's so bad. Rick Loveday, how's it going? Good to see you, my friend. How are you? Online extras overcome weird count limits. Yeah, exactly. Oh, and Rova, welcome in. It's good to see you. Where can we find the top seller list? You can't. It's only on like the back end of the website, so I can go in there and snoop and see what's selling. I'm a professor, and teaching/research falls into a similar risky quagmire. Oh my god, yeah, I bet. Being a professor, it's such a cool job because I think it requires you to be so many different things. Like, I don't know, you have to like be a researcher and like know your stuff for your curriculum. You also have to like, there's a little bit of entertaining, I think, that goes into being a professor, at least from what I've seen of the professors that I had that I really, really loved. They were amazing speakers and storytellers. And a lot of them like took risks with stuff and like didn't teach like average curriculums, and it was cool. I'm alive. That's good. That's good. Better than the alternative, Rick. It's good to see you. Harad, welcome in. How are you? Recently won a voucher and got myself 2 PDFs, one of which was Free Fire, even though I don't have Amazing Adventures. Dude, you're gonna love Free Fire. I had a brain blast and realized that Free Fire is actually like Call of Duty, but for tabletop games. It's literally like a Call of Duty game. It's kind of awesome. That's how we're gonna break into the video game market and like snag video gamers into our audience. We're gonna snipe them. That's a term that you hear in Call of Duty. Sniper. Question, are the Charisma Cats coming back? I hope so. We've been talking. So we've been talking about like Twitch and the type of content that we want to be producing here. And we are pulling back our budget for Twitch. So we're going to be trying to focus a little bit more on like content that we can produce for free. So it'll include like all of the, you know, employees and all of us doing stuff and like games of our own. And we love the Charisma Cats, and I consider them great friends. They're like amazing people. But their time is really valuable, especially now, and especially if you're like trying to work in like entertainment and like do stuff. It's hard to like dedicate time like this to like a free online show if you're not getting, you know. So we didn't want anyone to be like taken advantage of. I think we're more than likely gonna circle back and like invite them into things in the future for sure. I really hope we see them again because they were a blast. I was a teacher for 5 years. Being a GM definitely helped. I can imagine. I did a little bit of teaching years and years and years ago, and I was kind of leaning on like prior experience in public speaking. I hadn't done like tabletop gaming at the time when I was like teaching, but I think sometimes about how it would feel to like go back into it now with the experience of like having run games and like that kind of stuff, and just being older. I really had no business being in front of children. I almost said swear words to them so many times. I never let one slip, but we came very close a lot of times. Y'all need to make remakes of the first AD&D book covers as t-shirts and in big boy sizes. You're right. I am into that. I'm very into that. It's very performative. I tell my colleagues being a DM was my training ground, and the two roles feed into each other. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Is that lamp a tomato or a broken starfish? It's neither. It's a broken tomato. I got it for Christmas last year and I fucking love it, but it immediately broke. So you know what? He's just our special. He's just special, you know? Graduated Sierra Vista, served Fort Huachuca, returned to Tucson for USMC of A, government job, sent me to Phoenix, lived around the Valley of the Sun. The Valley of the Sun? Is that a real place? That's pretty cool. Free, they get to be paid to the joy of playing. Oh man, well thank you. If I could pay their bills, I would. Apparently being a GM is good practice for being a project manager. Ooh, is it? I mean, I guess I see loosely how those skill sets could kind of overlap. Like, the preparation that you do as a GM, or at least that I do as a GM. I know like some GMs have this ability to like jump right in. I do not have that. Where they can just like improvise a whole story and like pull stuff out. I feel like I have to know everything, absolutely everything ahead of time. The leaf is rotationally symmetrical. Well, thank you. Yeah, she can kind of be whichever which way, you know? It's horrible, the disease melting starfish. I gotta start giving weird answers to people asking if it's a tomato. No, it's a... No, never mind. I'm gonna take that thought and I'm gonna just shove it back in. That was not appropriate for the internet. I also must know all the things before a game. Yeah. You get it. It's the struggle. GMing for project manager experience. It's the managing the herd of cats known as the players, apparently. Oh yeah, that's like, I think that was weirdly the hardest part of it for me, at least. Let me know if y'all have like felt something similar. I'm not good at like telling people what to do. I don't like to, so trying to like move things along or like do stuff, I definitely get in my own head about it and worry that I'm like killing the fun for people if I'm trying to like move through something and like, I don't know, keep up the pacing or something like that, or like curb the like chatting and that kind of stuff. Not with like the Charisma Cats game, but like home games and stuff like that. It's tough to know where the line is of like moving the story forward or like shitting on people's fun. It's a delicate balance. So for the most part, what I do is just let the talking just continue until it's done. Hey, Lexian, how's it going? It's been a minute. It's so good to see you. Thank you for the follow, my friend. I do not consider myself management material. I do my best when given a task, a deadline, and enough freedom to get it done. Yeah, I feel ya. Easy to self-manage, but it's tough with like other people. I am well, Lexian. How are you? It's so good to see you. Chat, meet Lexian. Lexian, meet everybody. Lexi, welcome to the troll chat. It's lovely to see you. Sorry I missed Gen Con last year. Yeah, man. This next one will be there. I'm pretty sure we'll be there next year. But yeah, Gen Con is always a great time. We were talking about cons in the troll chat today. For all of the like craziness that goes on at a con, like it's really inspiring to be there and just be like surrounded by other nerds and people with the same interests, and like, you know, like everyone gets it. It's so nice. It will be dependent on getting a job. I see. I retired from the Air Force. Well, hey, congratulations on your retirement. I hope that you find something, I hope you find something expeditiously. Because God knows, we're all having a time right now trying to, find stuff. Over 90% of the sunflower sea star population has been lost due to sea war wasting disease since the epidemic began in 2013, with billions of starfish affected across more than 20 species. Scarily accurate to real life. How about just a sprinkling of global warming? Hey, Alexandria, welcome in. How's things at the library? I actually DM'd a one-shot for some friends on Monday, speaking of D&D. Hell yeah. Dude, that rocks. How'd it go? Touch of Evil. Hello, hello. Thank you for the streak, my friend. Welcome back. My dad was in the USAF. What did you... Oh, yeah. Cool, cool, cool. Air Force. Did you know that Trollord Games, us here, we offer a veteran discount if you're interested in Castles and Crusades, which is very familiar. If what you're used to is D&D 5e or other editions of D&D, you would probably really like Castles and Crusades, and we offer a veterans discount of 50% for veterans. Just gonna float that. Hey, friend who I haven't seen in a long time, let me sell you. Let me sell you on products really quick. Let's talk about sales. Let's talk about money. No, I just wanted to mention it. But speaking of stuff that people talk about, I wasn't lying earlier. We are going to read while we still have... Can you guys not hear the music that I've had playing this whole time? It looked like it wasn't showing. There should be music. Hey, Bob, welcome back. Month 16. God damn, that's a long time. How are you? Lovely to have you. All right, try it now. It should probably be hearing music now. New type. Oh my goodness. So good to see you, my friend. How are you? Bob, holy shit. Thank you. Thank you so much. Can you hear now? Okay, good. Thank you so much for gifting that sub. We super appreciate it. I say it every time. I'm always going to say it. Whenever you guys support the channel like this, that's money that we put back into the Twitch stream. I know that I said earlier we're scaling back the budget on Twitch. If we're able to make this platform into something that is able to sustain itself, then we would love to put that money back into the production here and more games and the Charisma Cats and other groups of players. So it's all that to say, it goes a really long way to help us. Thank you. We really appreciate it. CNC is spiritually Ernest Gary Gygax, AD&D 2nd edition. Yeah. And I've heard that it's kind of a little bit of a precursor to 5e. Opinions have varied on that from what I can tell. I bought the player's hand. Oh my god, that's right. Oh my god, yeah, I forgot all about that. You know the drill. You know all about CNC. Better at previous level. Okay, I'll turn it down a little bit. Let me know how that is. We are gonna read. We're gonna read. I swear, we're gonna read. So yeah, that's the dealio. That's pretty much what's been going on. Crusader number 29, it's out. I'm terrified. And we're gonna do more. If it's too loud, you're too old. I think I had a sticker that said that. There was a punk rock record store in northern Michigan that I used to go to all the time. and they had the best stickers ever, and it was a lot of stuff like that. There was one that said old school and then old school, and then there was one that was like, if it's too loud, you're too old. I was so into that when I was like 15. Waffles, this is Earl Grey tea for the evening. I love an Earl Grey tea. London fogs are one of my favorite drinks ever. A reading from the Aihrde phone book, The Bees. Here's the thing. This setting is so beloved by the people that have made it. I feel like Steve is always thinking of like additions for Aihrde and ways to like illustrate it and make it feel more real. And so if you pitch him an Aihrde phone book, I could see it taking hold, you know. Back in my Ute days. What is a Ute? I gotta watch My Cousin Vinny again. That movie fucking rules. All right, we're gonna read. We're gonna read from the Codex of Aihrde. Welcome in. We're gonna read through the Codex. We're gonna do it. We like lost connection last week. Remember to bring Quiet Kid with me? Oh man, thank you. That's really appreciated. Thank you for supporting the book. Not a lot of people out here really know about Quiet Kid. I don't really talk about it very much. Thank you. That's very sweet of you. But stream kind of cut out a little bit last week. So I don't know exactly where we left off, but we're going to start learning about the trees of Aihrde and how the trees came to be. And that's going to be where we start. So settle in, get yourself a bev. Settle into any kind of task that you want to be doing right now. And if you want to read along, we're starting on page 180 of the Codex of Aihrde, of the trees. I'm going to take a sip of water. Trolls are. I'm going to do this, though, so I can't hear the music because it kind of messes me up. Long before the world was made, Aihrde dreamed of a burning heat upon his brow. In the dream, he moved beneath a cool shadow to escape the heat. The shade embraced him with a gentle touch, and the air smelled of earth, and he was comforted. So, it came to pass, after his many labors, as he sat upon Mount Edelmere, that the sun beat down upon his brow and he felt the heat of it. The sky hung pale blue overhead, empty of clouds or comfort. The dream came to him then, unbidden, and Aihrde remembered the cool shade, the comfort, and the smell of the earth in the air. Mordias caught his eye, even as his mind wandered into the manifold passages of his imaginings, and he saw her frolicking in the grass of her design. Hey, GD, thank you for the sub, my friend. Welcome in. It's so good to see you. How are you? He strode down from the mountain and stood in the grass upon the plains. He saw then what she had wrought and was pleased, for he saw that the earth churned in turmoil with the many roots of Mordias's labor. He took up his thought, and from that high place he hurled it as a bolt of thunder through the sky. He spoke to it, casting the language upon it so that it could take shape. It landed with great force into the folds of the snow-capped mountains. It cut the land and flattened it so that a wide valley became its home. The force of the thought broke the frozen stuff of a glacier, so that a mighty torrent of water fell to the valley and broadened out into a river, clear and cold. I missed you all at Game HoldCon too. Thank you. I'm so glad that you had fun. There the thought of Aihrde took shape and form. It germinated,
unfolding from the seed of his thought. He blew wisdom into it, and its mind unfolded as the shell of it fell away, and it sprouted. A great root crawled forth into the dirt, and a stem broke the surface of the world. Our conference here in Brazil. It would be amazing to have you visit us here. I forwarded the message. I believe that tomorrow we can talk. Yes. Thank you. And it grew and grew, rising from the valley floor, climbing ever higher, its roots spreading beneath the earth, cutting beneath the feet of the mountains, even through the world and into the wall of worlds and beyond. Its roots tapped the maelstrom to drink of the firmament. Its limbs grew likewise into the heavens, spreading ever further, as if to hold up the dome of the sky. Strong and unyielding, the tree grew thick, covered in armor of bark. It was an ash, and it was the father of all trees. As it broke the earth, it called to Mordias, for all things that grew in the earth were known to her. She came to the tree and marveled at it, and she loved it, and took the greater store of her wisdom and poured it as water upon the roots of the tree, so that the water pooled all about it, spreading through the valley in lakes. Later, they were called the pools of green. The tree drank of her, and embodied all that she saw, knew, and understood of the world. In this, she was prescient of her own future, and preserved herself greater than ever she knew. Fed thus, the tree sprouted green across its broad limbs, and the leaves soaked in the world's youthful sun in all its glory, drinking of the power of Aihrde as it lay in all things. And Aihrde was pleased, for he had not seen the leaves, which were Mordias's creation. She gave the greater part of herself to the tree, and for that it is called the mother of all trees, as well as father, so that men in later ages worshipped it as the mother and father, that is, the Aihrde, the great tree, or what the All-Fathers call the Vestotomrud. Give me a minute. The Vestotomrud. The cup of wisdom. It and all its offspring that came after, they were ever a part of her. The valley blossomed about the Aihrde, and the river flowed through it. The tree stood then in the pools of green, and these pools lay upon the feet of the tree, and tales tell that when the pools should run dry, then indeed the days of the Gonfod are upon the world, and the final Rin has begun. The Gonfod, if you don't remember, is the end of all things, the end of the world, the apocalypse. The chroniclers record that in after ages, during the winter dark. Oh, also, I want to just touch on real quick when we were talking about the Vestotomrud. The Vestotomrud, it's called the Vestotomrud by the Allfathers. That doesn't mean the Allfather. Dwarven leadership is called Allfathers in Aihrde, just if you don't know that. The chroniclers record that in after ages, during the winter dark, when the horned god came to see the tree, he thought to master it. He pulled upon the tree, but its roots were too deep, and he cursed it. And that it was in grim mockery of Aihrde that the horned god fashioned the fortress of Aufstrock, making its shape that of a horribly twisted oak. Wenifar came to the tree and saw that it was heavy with Mordias's life and wisdom, and she was amazed. She opened her hands and unleashed a torrent of birds. Thus the avian folk came to the world, and they occupied the high branches of the Aihrde and made nests there, and sang and frolicked in rejoice of it. The year passed, and the season changed. The leaves of Mordias wilted and fell to the ground, exposing the power and the wisdom beneath. The gods marveled and waited to see what might unfold. Thus the seasons turned, and the tree renewed and grew taller and stronger. And at last, after a long age, the tree grew heavy with seed. And the birds gathered them up and flew them whither they would, dropping them in the deep valleys of those mountains where the water flowed clean and fresh. These seeds took root and grew, and in turn they dropped seeds until after the space of many years, the children of Aird's thought spread wide and far. These were the trees, and they were of the Val Ericune, for they were of the Allfather's thought. They became aware of the warm, clean air through their leaves. The warm sun energized them, and their leaves spread to take in more, sating them on life-giving light. Beneath them, their roots spread out like toes, pushing through the cool earth, thirsty for nutrients and absorbing water from the soil. And they marveled, for they could not see their lives behind them, but knew that the world was alive around them. The trees became sentient creatures, for Aihrde made them aware of the world around them. They called themselves the Will Eloth, meaning those who bind together, for they saw the world and themselves as no others had before or would in the future. Their long fingers extended from their mighty bowls, one set growing into the earth, extending into the cool places. The other grew into the air, branching out in many directions. One set mirrored the other as they grew into two realms. The Will Eloth could not live without one the other. They did not understand that one might lie above the other, and saw no difference between their roots and their branches, and the world is as two places, held together by the bowl. But man and dwarf called them the Avorgan, for they were different than all other creatures with a mind and willful voice. In time, the trees spread until a great forest stood upon the slopes of the mountains, climbing into the high valleys and covering the hills. Their roots grew deep beneath the pale skies, and the sun washed them, and they grew ever taller. They moved as well, slowly, with roots pulling them along the ground, through earth broken by the deep grasses of Mordias' creation. When you are done reading, have you read the Legends and Lattes series? I haven't. I've heard that it's good. What do you think? Have you read it? Aihrde walked beneath them then, and sang to them, and taught them the language of creation. They were as his mind in rest, and as such, readily imbibed the language from him, learning it and coming to know the nature of creation. Though in truth, the magic of it escaped them, and the trees were never able to create as were men and gods. But the thought of it carried ever through their branches as they spoke to one another, and the wind carried it from one tree to another. And even today, if one is careful to listen, the echo of it remains in the wind that passes through the forest's highest reaches. Those skilled in the runic tongues may snatch the words and learn fragments of it, if their minds are strong. The first trees lived as sentient creatures and moved across the land. They never hurried, but rather moved slowly, methodically, reveling in the world of Aird's making. Some settled in places and stayed there ever after, and in the space of many years, great forests of these Avorgan grew across the world. 'Tis said that Aihrde loved the Avorgan more than all his other creations. He walked amongst them, talking of the world, in the early days of its making, of his dreams and designs, of what would come, and of the Gonfod, that ending of all things. He talked of all these things, and he knew joy in their company. The Avorgan lived long, being mirrors of the Allfather. But in time, they settled. The bark of flesh decayed, and they withered back into the earth from which they came. The seedlings they dropped proved less than the elders, for the light of Aihrde was not upon them, and the seeds of their seeds lesser still with each passing generation. Some could not move, some could not speak, and others were simple trees, rooted to the ground. It is known that the line of the elder never died out, for, from time to time, one is born that is a reflection of the power and majesty of the Avorgan at the dawn of the age of the world. Ooh, this next chapter is my favorite, The Coming of the Trolls. I love this one. I love the trolls in Aihrde. Inang was one of the Will Eloth. He stood as an equal amidst the first grove that grew at the feet of the fence that is the Marl Mountains. An oak of unbelievable size, he towered over his companions and marveled at what he could see. In time, he climbed to the top of a high ridge to see the wide world. Where the sun rose, he saw a massive mountain chain that tumbled up into the sky in layer after layer of rocky ridges. Where the sun set, he could see a vast, sprawling plain of deep, deep grass. The grass went as far as he could see, and the earth there called to him, promising deeper soil and unspoiled water. Beyond the plains were slim slivers of shimmering light, scores of them, which he learned were lakes of life-giving water. Ineng drifted from his grove, wandering down the slopes, his rooted feet cutting up the earth and finding new passage. But a voice beckoned him back. He stopped and cast his awareness toward the voice, for it was deep and made him thirsty for something he could not grasp. It was the voice of Aihrde, and it promised him knowledge. So, Ineng stood and listened. He stood apart from the grove and absorbed all that Aihrde had to say. The sisters, that is, the sun and moon, came and went countless times. The seasons rolled past. Ineng's leaves fell and returned time and time again while Aihrde spoke, and all those in the grove learned what he had to say. Ineng learned the language of creation, which is the language of all things, and he learned of the world, the void, and all things besides. At last, Aihrde finished speaking, and settled into the cool shade of the grove and enjoyed the company of the Avorgan for a long while. As the seasons passed, Ineng watched Aihrde sleep, but in time he grew curious, and wandered from the grove and down the slope so that eventually he found himself upon the plain, far from his fellows. The other Avorgan took notice after a while, and they called to him, but he did not answer them, for in his mind's eye... Sorry, there's a typo. Only in his mind... Oh, okay, sorry. I had to, connect the particles in my brain to make a spark really quick. In his mind's eye stood only the image of the water that he had seen before, and he was thirsty. He uprooted himself again and began his slow, ponderous movement across the world, traveling to the long, deep furrows of the lakes, which in after times were called the Channel Lakes. There he satiated himself with the cool waters for many years. He stood alone and grew to think of the land as his own, and he watched over it. He turned the water in its course, and he drew so much from the soil that it withered, and the grasses around him died. The water receded before him so that he had to follow it, and when he did so, he killed more of the grasses, and behind him stretched a black path of death. In time, the other Avorgan came to him, and he swayed and moaned so that they knew he did not desire their company. Thinking no ill will, they wandered on, for the world was wide. But unbeknownst to Inang, the Avorgan were growing in number. As the years passed, new breeds of the tree folk sprouted, and some took root and others wandered. Eventually, more Avorgan came to the lakes, and he could not dissuade them until at last they came close, and he sought to turn the soil barren beneath them. He sucked the nutrients out of it and made it like sand, keeping his neighbors from any food. Some of the trees died for his greed, and many of them fled. But some remained, angered by his claim to the lake country. They entered the waters and drank deep there, drying the land around him and stretching their shadows beyond their own form. They blocked the sun and Inang's light, but Inang refused to leave, suffering their attack. He grew tired and shabby. His bark peeled away and he began to die. At last, overwhelmed with the need for sustenance, he fled the lakes and moved into the western lands that were barren and hot. He wandered for long years, and his roots grew shallow, his limbs shorter, and his leaves withered, only growing in small bunches. There, on the plains of Akrathos, he lived, steeped in the rage of his own hate. He set about remaking himself then, using the language as taught by Aihrde to shape his roots into legs so that he could move faster, and his limbs into arms. He mimicked the shape of Aihrde, though that one was faceless, so Inang, in those early days, had no eyes or mouth. I'm going to move this closer. So came to be the first of the greater trolls, and though he was not yet evil, he was becoming so, driven by his greed and hunger. Hate and envy drove him as well, for in the barren plains of Akrathos, he was always hungry and thirsty, and he could find no purchase. He was constantly weak, and he took to blaming his kindred for his plight, never thinking that it was his greed that set him on this course. And ever has it been thus, that the weak and evil find blame in others for their own words and deeds. One day, Inang gathered himself and strode across the plains, returning to the Channel Lakes. There he saw a great There he saw a great forest of trees spread along the banks of the waters that were once his. A dark rage took him. With little thought, he picked up a boulder and hurled it, striking a tree in its bole. The great timber groaned, cracked, and fell to the earth. The other Avorgan marveled at this, for they had never seen one of them slain in such a way. They turned on Inang, reaching out with their roots through the ground, sucking the moisture from the earth and bawling out the light. Inang stood against them for many long years, but he could not overcome them. And he began to wither again, for their shadows were deep, fashioned so by their knowledge of the language of creation. Thus, Inang fled again into the wilderness. The forest on the Channel Lakes groaned in triumph, but some few of them broke free of the grove, curious and hungry, filled with greed like Inang, and they followed him into the wilderness. At first he feared these Avorgan and fled, leaving them behind, but eventually he realized that a lust for the world filled them much as it did he. They gathered for a while, but eventually Inang left them, longing to have his own country. But they learned from him, and they too shaped themselves as Inang and wandered through the world. Thus, the race of trolls came to be, and they were as lords over all that came after. So that's how trolls were invented in Aihrde. I think that's a good place to stop in the codex for now. Hey, Tux, welcome in. How are you? I love the tale of the trolls in Aihrde and how they arrived. If any of you have read Castle of Spires, we read it here. Maybe not last year, but the year before. And weirdly, a lot of troll lore is buried in that novel, in Castle of Spires by Steve Chenault. So if you want to read a story about an elven prince who goes crazy and goes on a murder spree of vengeance and madness, and there's also a sizable chunk of lore about trolls, do we have a story for you? What page did we stop? Oh, that's a good question. Let me pull it back up here. We stopped on page 183. Damn, all that was only 3 pages. God damn. If it wouldn't be too annoying, would you guys mind if I just read off like the description of my adventure in the Crusader number 29? 29? It's fun. I just realized it's a little bit of coincidence and serendipity. I'm 29, and it's the Crusader 29. If then you wouldn't mind, I would love to just read the description. My adventure is the least cool thing in the Crusader number 29. Is Castle of Spires on the store? It is, yes. It's in the fiction category. Oh yeah, the cool stuff in Crusader 29. Jeremy did a section on like lizard folk as a playable race. Jason Vey has a segment on like porting your favorite like real life guns into Siege, and it's really awesome. Chuck did a whole section on like Halloween based magic items. There's a comic in there from Mel. Davis did like a Myths of Inze segment, which is his setting. That's kind of like the dark twin of Aihrde, Inzea. There's stuff by Steve in there. So there's a ton of amazing stuff in Crusader number 29, including my adventure. So I'm just going to read the description. And then we'll get out of here. So this adventure is designed for 4 to 8 players of levels 4 through 6. Any party makeup can succeed in this adventure, though a ranger, druid, or other class suited to woodland tracking will benefit the party greatly. Alternatively, a character versed in spellcasting, such as an illusionist, cleric, or wizard, may be particularly beneficial. The adventure is set in the Darkenfold Forest of Aihrde, specifically the Dogwood. But if you wish to port this adventure to a homebrew setting, any forest that bumps against a rocky hillside and might be susceptible to nefarious blood curses will suffice. Tux, you're sweet. Thank you. In this adventure, the players are tasked with traversing the highly dangerous Dogwood in search of a hillside manor which has recently been ransacked. They will need to survive the trials of the forest long enough to find out what happened to the family who resided in the manor, and if possible, kill the wicked cultists who carried out the attack. Beware, do not talk to strangers, especially wolves, and do not ever veer from the path. I'll just read a little bit about the background. Yeah, this is good. Okay. I want to make sure there are no spoilers. There are many reasons that a wandering adventurer may find themselves in Greenbrier. Chiefly, it's a lonely bastion of civilization in the otherwise hostile Darkenfold Forest. Her inhabitants, though hardy and stout, are generally welcoming to outsiders. When the players enter the Longhouse Inn, every table is packed, except the center one. where Bernard Duboulet sits alone. Bernard is tall, at 6'3", broad-shouldered, and dressed in finery. He keeps his head down and avoids eye contact as if ashamed. If engaged, he explains that he is the intendant of the Von Brecht estate, a manor built into Heth's Perch overlooking the Dogwood Valley. The Von Brechts have lived there for 3 generations, presiding over 2 small villages. Once a strange curse set into the wood, the villages were abandoned. The family remained, and Bernard, having no kin or contacts outside the Dogwood, stayed with them. His family became the Von Brechts, Baron Dietrich, his wife Baroness Anna, and their infant son Peter. Bernard will explain that 2 nights ago, a band of cultists stormed the manor. In the chaos, Bernard barely managed to escape with his life and lost sight of the family that he had sworn to serve. He doesn't know what became of them or if they escaped. He believes the cultists to be worshippers of Orndul, the Red God. He promises them treasure. He'll beg the party to investigate. He will warn the players against the curse of the Dogwood. If they wish to reach the manor alive, they must stick to the path through the forest and resist the urge to veer from it. The path itself was once a lively trade road, which led travelers and tradesmen from the post road to the villages of Kashem and Roslo, as well as to the manor itself. These days, it is little more than a deer trail through dark, utterly hostile wilderness. Once you lose your way in the Dogwood, your chances of finding it again are next to none. So that is the description for Blood and Briar. The whole thing is on YouTube as well, if you'd rather just, check it out there. But yeah, if you deign to check it out, my email is always open if you have thoughts, corrections, complaints, mean comments. I'll take it on the chin. I can take it. I can take the criticism. But thank you all for hanging out. It's been real. It's been lovely. I'm glad that stream survived to the end this time. And yeah, I hope that you all have a lovely week. We're going to be back. Oh my God, when? Chuck streams this week. Chuck streams on Friday morning. Oh my God, we will be back. Come back here on Friday morning. Chuck will be here doing like world building and chatting about cool stuff. So like come hang out with us again. And hey, I'll be back here again next week. Same bat time, same bat place. And I'll be here on Monday for our staff game. So if you want to see C&C in action, see Castles and Crusades in action. Do you have a link for the YouTube version? Yeah, let me grab it really quick. I'm gonna turn off the music really quick so that nothing starts auto playing. I will drop a link to the playlist. And there might be some differences between the Blood and Briar that you see played out with the Charisma Cats and the one that's written. So just go with whatever you like the most. You should all check out Quiet Kid if you like poetry. This has become Grace's show and tell tonight. If you want poetry, check it out. Quiet Kid by Grace Karras. Hey. Thank you all for putting up with my bullshit and hanging out. This was so much fun and so lovely. Very glad that stream worked, and we'll be back next week. Let's find somebody to toss a raid to. Let's raid into Folk and Myth. They are lovely people. We're gonna go see them. If you have a minute to spare, hang out, tell them a nice thing about their stream. It makes people's day whenever like someone raids in and then like their community hangs out for a minute. So if you have the time to spare, just like say a nice thing to them before peacing out for the night. I'm gonna do the same, and just support these excellent creators. They were participants in the Summer of Siege this past summer. So they ran a CNC actual play. That was a ton of fun. Very cool watch. So thank you. We'll be back here very, very soon. Appreciate you all. Go in peace. Make the words do good. And I will see you next week. Goodbye.